person who has not done half his day's work by 10 o'clock runs a chance of leaving the other half undone. That was written by Emily Bronte 170 years ago. Some 60 years ago, Cyril Parkinson wrote, "Work expands to fill the time available for its completion." Now, when those folks write, of course, they write as rain. Every advisor in the world should pay careful heed to those warnings. I can tell you without hesitation, the amount of time you spend marketing yourself this year will determine exactly how much you grow next year. If you don't prospect and market yourself, your business is going to wither and die. I can also tell you without hesitation, and you know far better than I, that running your business gets in the way of growing your business. The details simply eat up your time. Only so many hours in a day. Why do we give tasks more time than they need, and what can we do about it? That's a very interesting question. I think the answer is we give projects too much time when we fail to set deadlines. Without deadlines, your time is essentially unstructured. The work will expand to fill that time. You'll take forever to get your tasks done, if in fact you ever get them done. Now add the fact that prospecting is this enormous task with no deadline. The need to prospect never ceases. And I think what happens during the day too much is all your other tasks consume your time till there's no time for prospecting. 5 o'clock rolls around, you haven't prospected that day. Well, after enough days like that, there's no salvation in hitting singles and doubles. You've got to hit a home run just to catch up. The longer you put prospecting off, the larger the task gets until it's completely overwhelming to even contemplate prospecting. You don't know where to begin. Well, one obvious remedy is to assign deadlines. Also, assign priorities to your tasks. And that's very easy to do because there's only 2 tasks. There's seeing people and there's everything else. Advisors fail because they don't see enough people, not because they don't complete enough tasks. There's nothing more important to the survival of your career than looking someone in the eye and asking him to become your client. Until you're satisfied that your business is big enough, your number one task is getting the word out. Doesn't matter how many names you have in your cell phone, it's how many cell phones is your name in. You've got to decide how much you want your business to grow year over year, then you spend your time accordingly. I urge you, get your tasks done by noon. Doesn't matter how you do it, doesn't matter how much you have to do, just do it, get them done. Then spend the balance of the day prospecting and marketing. If you don't get them done by noon, those tasks will fill up your entire day and you still won't get them done and they'll fill up tomorrow to boot. I work well with deadlines, perhaps you will too. If your tasks have a deadline, you work more efficiently. You work even more efficiently than that if another person's involved in that deadline. If a client needs it by Friday, you'll get it done by Friday or you'll pay an awful price. If your assistant or your boss needs it by noon, you'll get it done by noon. Now, not all tasks carry the same weight. Be aware of that. Stephen Jobs would go on retreat with his top 100 advisors once a year. One thing Jobs always wanted to know was what had to be done and when does it have to get done. So he'd ask those 100 people what was important to get done. Those people would fight to get their ideas on the board. He'd cross off any ideas he thought were without merit. He'd cross off any ideas he thought were stupid. And he'd eventually get that list pared down to the 10 most important things Apple had to do, tasks that absolutely had to be done. And you know what he'd do with those 10? He'd cross off the bottom 7. And he'd say to everybody, we can only work on 3 things at a time. He's right. It's a very smart idea to put more effort into fewer things. So I urge you, cut your list down, assign deadlines, and make your daily work go away by noon. Then spend the rest of your time meeting people and telling them what you do. All the organization in the world won't help if you can't get an appointment.